Hi, dear friends. Welcome back to Akshay Dare. I'm Devraj. Today is 7th July 2023. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷನ್ನ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನೀವಿನ್ನೂ ನನ್ನ ಚಾನಲ್ಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ಚಾನಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೋ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ರಿಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಂದಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟಿಪ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್. Let's see in the front page of the newspaper. Prigozhin is in Russia, says Belarus President. Chandrayaan 3 to be launched on July 14th. Meta takes aim at Twitter with threats. Should internet bans be used for public order? Experts flagged shutdowns on frivolous grounds. Aussies all out for 263 despite March sustain. Manipur HC2 year internet ban today. C declines to intervene. And CEP's Delhi's meeting expels Ajit Pawar, 11 others from party. Sharad Pawar says he remains president and only time will tell who holds the majority in the party. Ajit says the meeting has no legal sanctity and the question of who represents the real NCP will be decided by the election commission. Graha Jyoti registration cross 1 crore. Read file at launch. As NY says, G20 summit is key event for Russia. Putin visit now a possibility. Freedom of expression being misused in Canada by anti-India element. SEC to blame for collapses on the streets. The West Bengal governor. Graha Jyoti registrations cross 1 crore in Karnataka. BBMP fails to recover over 50 crore from agencies displaying adverts on skywalks. Businessman loses 2.93 crore on an employment-focused social media platform. Axe bomb call creates panic in control room. Tejasvi Surya's official phone number allegedly misused. Kannada FM Rainbow channel to be merged with All India Radio Bengaluru. Peddler mock making potions arrested. Auto rickshaw driver killed in accident. Scan QR code to get a number of BBMP official contractor in charge of city road. The road reach project has been launched on a pilot basis in South Zone. The initiative has drawn appreciation from many citizens and it will likely be scaled up across Bengaluru soon. These QR codes are pasted on sign boards. A citizen can scan them to go to a page where all required information is available. This will help citizens to access service better as a mode of grievance redressal and also help citizens hold officials and contractors accountable. 50 to 53 people evacuated, 4 relief camps opened in Dakshina Kannada. Allegations lack credibility as substance. The society said in a note that it has fully complied with the provisions of the Karnataka Societies Registration Act. ED-IT to join probe into alleged Benami assets of Ajit Kumar Rai. The crushing operations begin at a Mysugar factory in Mandya. This is about are women paying the price as work shifts back to office, with the tech companies in Bengaluru mandating a fixed number of days in the office. Employers and employees alike are facing new challenges. Finally, P. Thomas and Mini Tejasvi. I got used to a flexible working style, and now it is tough for me to go back to work most days of the week. I don't see productivity or data security as the reason for hand calling us back to office. So, gender sensitization workshop held to raise awareness. Vidya Balan talks about playing a detective in Nia, the first theatrical release since 2019, and while less is more in our current state of mind, the game is a put. Making music for muses, a singer Malavika Sundar will be performing in the city to raise funds for the Bangalore Poetry Festival. Probe hardened into suicide beat by KSRTC driver who blamed ministers for transport. BJP JDS stage Dharna and Assembly seeking inquiry and resignation of Chelvaraya Swami. State will make a strong pitch before Finance Commission to enhance its share in taxes. Siddaramaiah desist from imposing new taxes. Bommai ready to give pen drive with proof on corruption to Hall MLA Kumaraswamy. A decision to implement 7th Pay Commission after considering financial status, says CM. Rudrappa Lamani elected unopposed as deputy speaker. Drought hit taluks will be declared after July 15. Grant permission to start MBBS course at SMS IMSR. 24 of the 43 departments in state have vacancies for more than 50%. Madras SC declares selection of Theni MP null and void. Justice S. S. Sundar finds him guilty of having suppressed the value of his assets in election affidavit and says the returning officer too accepted his nomination without adherence to procedure. Miscreants steal tomato and other vegetables in Telangana. Dhalani Pies will soon be released, says Telangana Congress chief. Rajbhavan responds to letter seeking governance note to the prosecutor ex-ministers. India needs a uniform civil code. Let's read this editorial page written by the former President of India, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. India, being a diverse nation, is home to many religions, each with its distinct personal laws governing marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance, and succession. It would be accurate to say that the absence of a uniform civil code has only served to perpetuate inequalities and inconsistencies in our land of rich diversity. In fact, this has been a hindrance in the nation's progress towards social harmony, so economic and gender justice. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had last week called for the enactment of a UCC, pointing out the anomaly of having varying laws for different categories of citizens. In the Constituent Assembly, the debate on the UCC goes back to the Constituent Assembly debates. In fact, one could assert that the legality of UCC is rooted in the Constitution of India, Constituent Assembly debates, and also Supreme Court of India judgments. Constituent Assembly debates shed light on the need and the objective behind promoting a common civil code. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, the chief architect of the Indian Constitution, had made a strong case in the Constituent Assembly for framing a UCC. He stressed the importance of a UCC in ensuring gender equality and eradicating prevailing social evils, countering the arguments of some of the members of the Constituent Assembly who were opposed to the idea. B. Ambedkar observed, I personally do not understand why religion should be given this vast, expansive jurisdiction as to cover the whole of life and to prevent the legislature from encroaching upon that field. After all, what are we having this liberty for? We are having this liberty in order to reform our social media system, which is so full of inequalities, discriminations, and other things which conflict with other fundamental rights. It is therefore quite impossible for anybody to conceive that the personal law shall be excluded from the jurisdiction of the state. Other distinguished and erudite members of the Constituent Assembly, such as Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer and K. M. Munshi, also advocated the enactment of a UCC. Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer argued that the article actually aims at amity. What it aims at is to try to arrive at a common measure of agreement in regard to these matters. Similarly, K. Munshi also called for a UCC in the Constituent Assembly. He said the point, however, is this whether we are going to consolidate and unify our personal law in such a way that the way of life of the whole country may in course of time be unified and secular. What have these things got to do with religion? I really fail to understand. Since I since a consensus on a UCC could not be reached in the Constituent Assembly, the subject found a place under Article 44 of the Directive Principles. Thus, Article 44, in essence, is the constitutional mandate which requires the state to enact a UCC that applies to all citizens, cutting across faiths, practices and personal laws. It would be also pertinent to point out here that the Supreme Court had dwelt on the matter on more than one occasion. The top court had observed in the Shah Bano case that it is a matter of regret that Article 44 has remained a dead letter. The court had pointed out that the UCC would help the cause of national integration. The top court ruled that in the constitutional order of priorities, the right to religious freedom is to be exercised in a manner consonant with the vision underlying the provisions of what 13 fundamental rights. Indian Young Lawyers Association case 2018. However, despite articulating its view clearly on the subject, in many cases the Supreme Court refrained from issuing any clear directive to the government, being mindful of the fact that the framing of laws falls within the exclusive domain of Parliament. The UCC is therefore a step in the right direction, long overdue to safeguard the fundamental rights of all citizens and reduce social inequalities and gender discrimination. It should be seen and understood as an attempt at creating a unified legal framework that upholds the principles enshrined in the Constitution and reaffirmed by the Supreme Court judgments. The doubts in the minds of some and the opposition to this initiative stemming from unfounded apprehensions need to be addressed through enlightened debate and a constructive engagement. The overarching objective is to ensure that there is no gender discrimination. Everyone enjoys the fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution, and that the law of the land is uniform for every citizen in our country. It will serve as a powerful instrument for the promotion of equality and justice for all citizens. Seen in this light, every citizen should welcome it. As Baba Sahib Ambedkar and other learned members of the Constituent Assembly had proposed, uniformity in personal laws is essential for empowering women and ensuring gender equality in matters of marriage, divorce, and inheritance. A UCC would eliminate discriminatory practices that deprive women of opportunities and protections. Our diverse society calls for a unified legal framework to foster social cohesion and national integration. The Constituent Assembly members recognized the existing challenges and stressed the need for the UCC to bridge the gaps and promote a sense of unity among diverse communities. Personal laws should have a two dimensional acceptance. They should be constitutionally compliant and consistent with the norms of gender equality and the right to life with dignity. The Constitution is the North Star which guides us in this regard. It exemplifies the essential principles of justice, gender equality, and secularism, which taken together set the foundation of the UCC. So, this is about the UCC Uniform Civil Code. Let's go to the next article written by Firoz Varun Gandhi. Internationalizing the rupee without the coin tossing. The government's announcement of a long term roadmap for further internationalization of the rupee can turn out to be a positive exercise. In the 1950s, the Indian rupee was legal tender for almost all transactions in the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, and Qatar, with the Gulf monarchies purchasing rupees with the pound sterling. In the 1959, to mitigate challenges associated with the gold smuggling, the Reserve Bank of India Amendment Act was brought in. enabling the creation of the Gulf rupee with notes issued by the central bank for circulation only in the West Asian region. Holders of the Indian currency were given 6 weeks to exchange their Indian currency, with this transition happening smoothly. However, by 1966, India devalued its currency, eventually causing some West Asian countries to replace the Gulf rupee with their own currencies. Lagging confidence in the Indian rupee's stability combined with an oil revenue linked boom slowly led to the introduction of sovereign currencies in the region. The move in 2023 to withdraw the 2000 note has also impacted confidence in the rupee. The demonetization of 2016 also shocked confidence in the Indian rupee, especially in Bhutan and Nepal. Both countries continue to fear additional policy changes by the RBI, including further demonetization. The rupee's internationalization cannot make a start without accounting for the concerns expressed by India's neighbors. Very little international demand. The rupee is far from being internationalized. The daily average share for the rupee in the global foreign exchange market was around 1.6%, while India's share of global goods trade is 2%. India has taken some steps to promote the internationalization of the rupee. Example, enable external commercial borrowings in rupees. With a push to Indian banks to open rupee escrow accounts for banks from Russia, the UAE, Sri Lanka, and Mauritius, and measures to trade with 18 countries in rupees instituted. However, such transactions have been limited, with India still buying oil from Russia in dollars. Ongoing negotiations with Russia to settle trade in rupees have been slow going, with Russia expected to have an annual rupee surplus of over 40 billion. Reports indicate that Russian banks have been averse to the trade, given the risk of further currency depreciation and a lack of awareness among traders about local currency facilities. In short, there is very little international demand to trade in the Indian rupees. For a currency to be considered a reserve currency, the rupee needs to be fully convertible, are readily usable and available in sufficient quantities. India does not permit for full capital account convertibility, that is, allowing free movement of local financial investment assets into foreign assets and vice versa, with significant constraints on the exchange of its currency with others, driven by fast fears of capital flight, that is, outflow of capital from India due to monetary policies, lack of growth, and exchange rate volatility, given a significant current and capital account deficits. China experience. China's example in internationalizing the renminbi has lessons. As an online article highlights, before 2004, the RMB could not be used outside China. By 2007, the dim sum bond and offshore RMBD bond market had been created, with financial institutions in Hong Kong allowed to issue dim sum bonds. By 2009. First to 2008, China pursued a phased approach, enabling the use of the RMB for trade finance, financial instruments for facilitating international trade and commerce, and investment, and over the long term as a reverse currency. First, it allowed the use of RMB outside China for current account transactions. Example, commercial trade, interest payment, dividend payments, and for selected investment transactions. Example, foreign direct investment. Outward direct investment. By 2009, China had signed currency swap agreements, that is, an exchange of an equivalent amount of money, but in different currencies, with countries such as Brazil, the United Kingdom, Uzbekistan, and Thailand. Soon, it allowed central banks, offshore clearing banks, and offshore participating banks to invest excess RMB in debit securities. The Shanghai Free Trade Zone was launched in September 2013 to allow free trading between non-resident onshore and offshore accounts. Over time, the RMB was internationalized with a reserve currency status increasingly enabled. Example, by Q2 2022, the RMB's share of international reserves had reached 2.88%. As the article highlights, pursue these reforms. Many reforms can be pursued to internationalize the rupee. It must be made more freely convertible with a goal of full convertibility by 2060, letting financial investments move freely between India and abroad. This would allow foreign investors to easily buy and sell the rupee, enhancing its liquidity and making it more attractive. Additionally, the RBI should pursue a deeper and more liquid rupee bond market, enabling foreign investors and Indian trade partners to have more investment options in rupees. Enabling its international use, Indian exporters and importers should be encouraged to invoice their transactions rupee in rupee, optimizing the trade settlement formalities for rupee import export transactions would go a long way. Additional currency swap agreements as with Sri Lanka would further allow India to settle trade and investment transactions in rupees without resorting to a reserve currency such as the dollar. Additionally, tax incentives to foreign businesses to utilize the rupees in operations in India would also help. The RBI and the Ministry of Finance must ensure currency management stability, consistent and predictable issuance or retrieval of notes and coins, and improve the exchange rate regime. More demonetization or devaluation will impact confidence. A start could be made to push for making the rupee an official currency in international organizations, thereby giving it a high profile and acceptability. The Tarapur Committee in 1997 and 2006 recommendations must be pursued, including a push to reduce fiscal deficits lower than 3.5%, a reduction in gross inflation rate to 3.3 to 5%, and a reduction in gross banking non-performing assets to less than 5%. The government's roadmap for further internationalization of the rupee will make it easier for Indian businesses to do business or invest abroad and enhance the rupee's liquidity. While enhancing financial stability, it must also benefit Indian citizens, enterprises, and the government's ability to finance deficits. It is a delicate balance to trade off rupee convertibility for exchange rate stability. On hopes predictable currency management policies will be instituted. This is about the Indian rupee momentum softens. Food inflation threatens to undermine efforts to ensure price stability. And the limits of expansion, effective implementation of food security schemes must be the focus. Let's go to the next page. Should internet shutdown be used to maintain public order? Freedom of speech and expressions. Expression is not an absolute right, but shutdowns cannot happen for frivolous reasons. Rajasthan cut off internet before REET, Rajasthan eligibility examination for teachers, and West Bengal did the same before the Madhyamik Pariksha. That may be the good reason. As scientists, science journalists produce a different kind of knowledge. In the same way that magnetic mined from the earth is different from a crowbar. MP's stage walkout has panel chair disallows debate on Manipur. Trinamool's Derek Hope Biren, Digvijay Singh and Pradeep Bhattacharya of Congress protest as BJP MP Brij Lal refused to take up the issue. We stand against such an evasion of responsibility to discuss an issue of national importance. SC awards life sentence for food in Delhi for blast case of 1996. US ready to help in Manipur if asked, says Eric Gazzetti. 62-year-old shot dead in Impal West. Hope India implements IWT in good faith. Pakistan. Anti-India elements propagating separatism. SSC asked NGO to move center against issue of Sarpanch parties patism in politics. Collegium proposes new Chief Justices for 7 high courts. CBI booked 7 persons in Bengal's Malda for post conversion. Congress wouldn't exploit a crisis, will back Sharad Rawal. Party leader meets NCP president in New Delhi and assures him from support amid crisis. It tells its Maharashtra unit not to hastily climb leader of the opposition position in the said state assembly. No leader is unhappy. Shinde Danish reports of discontent in Sena. India, France gear up for Modi's visit. Focus on key deals. After a high-level meeting, pilot signals true with the Galoot. Chandrayaan-3 launch on July 13, Luna, landing on August 23 at 24. Landing date is decided based on when there is a sunrise on the moon. If the landing does not take place as planned, then ISRO will wait for 1 month to make another attempt in September, says Space Agency Chairman S. Somnath. MP CM washes feet up tribal man who was united upon. Defamation case SC to rule on her Rahul plea today. SC agrees to hear Delhi government challenges to ordinance on July 10. SC asks UGC to detail the actions taken against caste discrimination. IMA seeks a relook at a medical exit exam. Importance of Guru Bhakti. Moscow sees closing Finnish consulate, expels 9 diplomats. Suspected Palestinian assailant shoots dead Australian West Bank. Myanmar junta rebels dispute deaths in village rock hut attack. Trump aide pleads not guilty in classified documents case. US Treasury Secretary in China to soothe relations. Meta takes aim at Twitter with the launch of Threads. The app is billed as a text-based version of Instagram. Posts are limited to 500 characters, which are more than Twitter thresholds of 280 and can include links, photos, videos up to 5 minutes. Belarus president claims Wagner chief is in Russia. Hong Kong cuts elected seats in local councils. Netherlands to return colonial era acquisitions to Sri Lanka. Indonesia. Dutch king issued a historic royal apology for country's involvement in colonial era slavery. Finn Means pushes for reforms to spur FDI. Ministry calls for more attention to issues faced by global investors, including infrastructure and the difficulties in setting up large factories. Maruti Suzuki begins export of its new compact SUV Fronts. Toyota Kirloskar increases prices of all cars in India. Ensure NPS dealt in transparent manner. Food plate costs rose again in June. Crisis. India will need at least 20 lakh deep tech engineers by 2030. India expects a EU carbon tax to eat exports of steel iron. Raw Rene Group plans to invest 1,000 crore. Over 150 entries for INMRC second round, 15 races in National Ashish Championship categories, with big names missing chance for young weightlifters to impress. Mars class to the fore before wood breathes fire. Brody sends word number 4 road packing. Andreeva causes a plot. Pagakar wins summit duel against leader Vinge God. Julan hopes Rohit and co will repeat 2011 WC feat. Special shirt for Am's my under test Smith Shay's emotional story. England pips Australian thriller keeps women's Ashes hopes alive. Brody sends a word number 4 road packing. Andrew causes a flutter. Vaibhav and Jahan stall South Jones charge. Alpa North take a narrow first innings lead. West Zone takes control after Central collapses. D leads Sterling Airport so helps Netherlands qualify. All-rounder hammers a blistering century to complement a 5-4 as the Dutch make light of Scotland total book, a berth for the first time since 2011. Unseeded Monica Batra stands 10th seed Cheng Hai-Cheng. India wins U18 compound women's STEM gold. Tamim announces shock retirement. Kohli problems in the corridor of uncertainty continue. Jaiswal signs. Sindhu Lakshya enter pre-quarters of Canada Open. Not only thinking about India game, Babar. Continental Kings, the dog horses that shone the brightest in GCL. After languishing at the bottom of the charts nearly halfway into the tournament, the team spearheaded by veteran Aronian overcame the odds to surprise more glamorous and stronger outfits to emerge victorious in the inaugural edition. I believe the Global Chess League has given many moments to cherish starting from the epic match between Magnus and Vichy and to seeing some of the young and dynamic talent from across the world. Tennis power couple Swidosa stealing the show at Wimbledon. The as migraine treatment evolves, understanding too gets better. Headache is felt by nearly everybody, and almost half of the world adults at any one time have recent personal experience of one or more headache disorder. According to an article on the subject each day, 15.8% of the world population has a headache. Of course, it is true. SC semaglutide miracle repurposing diabetes drug for weight loss. That rest best known to man. This is a little important. We have to make a focus. We have to read this article about the headache. Reintegrating acid attack survivors continues to be an unfinished journey. While cases of acid attacks in Karnataka and Bangalore have come down, more remains to be done to rehabilitate survivors into society. No acid can burn the survivor's spirit. With a new job comes a new beginning. The new job at the secretariat is a ray of hope. But life has changed for the survivor from Sunkat Kate in Bangalore after a stack of powdered acid honor. This is the last two pages of Karnataka in focus. Broad routes of Mysore as are part of royal legacy. World Bicycle Day in June. World Bank to fund Pronad Karnataka project, moving people, not vehicles. Paddle assist way bicycles trial run completed. Mysore public bicycle sharing system train to get new technology. Does Mysore provide a perfect setting for cycling? Not only will the bright yellow color conventional bicycles of Tintin be replaced with the more rider-friendly pedal assist bicycles, but the system of docking the bicycles will also shift from the beam-style dock to dockless system with an Internet of Things based integrated lock system. So this is a kind to bring the environment in to green. Text and context, understanding dog patterns. So what measures have the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Advertising Standards Council of India had taken to address the widespread use of deceptive advertising practices? How are global regulators looking at the issue? What are some of the commonly used dog patterns seen in the e-market? The migrants who have died attempting to reach Spain, 951 fatalities worth of Aki equipment are distributed by Aki India. The years after which West Bengal's hills are ready to vote, the number of grave violations against children in conflicts, the number of job openings in May in the United States. What are the provisions of the High Seas Treaty? Why did some developed countries oppose the treaty? What were some of the most contentious issues in the marine biodiversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction treaty? The fallout of delimitation in the states needs no political forecasting. electoral sinew to the Wana set up states while depleting representative muscle to another will fuel North-South India tensions. So one cannot afford a tension on the North-South front in addition to those we already have in the country. This is about some significant events occurred on July 7. Here is a quick on observances, birthdays, and everything else that happened on the day. So this is the last page of the Hindu paper. I hope you, if it is important, or just read it. Or at least you get to know what are the words will be come to mind. New words will come to mind. So that will make you remember in the conversation where you talk with your friends or with your neighbors. So I hope you guys enjoyed the newspaper reading, and please subscribe the channel, like and comment for more videos related to education and life, healthcare, and personal interviews related to teachers. So I hope you guys enjoy and see you in the upcoming videos. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.